will call our first panel. Our first panel is going to look at digital sustainability trends in the Saudi mega projects market. Obviously, this is incredibly important given what's happening in the kingdom in terms of the many very big mega and giga projects that are now underway. So what this will look at is how do you start to ensure that today's requirements, today's level of digitalization and sustainability are the foundations for what will be needed in 10, 15, 20 years' time as these projects begin to mature. Our first panel will be led by Dr. Mansour Al-Otaibi, Chairman of the Architectural Engineering Department at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals. He's joined by Scott Henshaw, Head of Design and Project Delivery at Red Sea Global. Theofanis Fanourakis, Digital Services Associate Director for Diriyah Development Authority. Menno de Jonge, Director of Digital Development at Neom. And Engineer Abdulaziz Al-Shareef, General Manager of Operation at the National Housing Company. Please welcome them to the stage.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اعذروني لو تكلمنا بالإنجليزي let's have it in English. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Mansour Al-Otaibi. I'm the Chairman of Architecture and Engineering Department. And today we'll have the first panel discussion about the digital and sustainability trends in mega and giga projects in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. With the project market so focused on resourcing and delivery issues, the big picture can be easily be forgotten. How do we lay the best digital and sustainable foundation to ensure the sustainability of our future projects in terms of 10 to 15 years of time? To discuss this, I'm honored to have our distinguished panelist, Scott Henshaw, the Head of Design and Project Delivery from Red Sea. We have Theofanis Fanourakis, the Digital Services Associate Director from Diriyah Development Authority. And we have Menno de Jonge, the Director of Digital Delivery from Neom. And finally, we have Engineer Abdulaziz Al-Shareef, the General Manager of Operation from the National Housing Company. We are glad to have you here today. And let me start where His Excellency Engineer Abdullah highlighted many times about digitalization. And let me start with Scott. So what do you think about virtual design and construction, the VDC methodology, such as BIM and GIS, and how they are helping in managing environmental sustainability in your mega project?
Okay, this is a great question. You know, our journey started in 2018. We started off as a development management office within PIF overseeing the Red Sea project. We became a developer in early 2018, and part of our original strategy was to embrace digital technology and to set new standards for sustainable development. And really, as we've gone on this 5-year journey, two major platforms have emerged within our business. One, GIS, where we have over 7,000 users, and BIM 360, which is our information exchange. All our consultants are on it. And this is an unbelievable statistic, but we have 60,000 users on this platform. And the building of this platform has taken 200 partners. We've got 60 hubs, and it is the driving force behind sustainability on the Red Sea project. I think that our primary focus as it relates to digital delivery has been on offsite manufacturing. And it's a process that it starts in design, but it has to be developer driven. You have to have a vision, and you have to drive it with the design teams. So if you want bathroom pods, or if you want to manufacture your superstructure, then that's got to be thought of in the early stages of design. and you need to collaborate with the supply chain. And I think a great example is we've got 2 luxury resorts that are located on mono islands. They're very sensitive. They're in a habitat. It's largely a what I would call blue carbon habitat. A lot of mangrove, a lot of seagrass, very sensitive environment. And we worked with a manufacturer in Europe to fabricate the superstructure. And that superstructure came in over 800 containers of flat pack, and we were able to assemble that on site. So what were the benefits of that? We reduced manpower by 14%. So footfall on the island, we reduced by 14%. We reduced our construction waste by 30%. You know, so not only is it good for our bottom line, it's great for the environment. And I think as we've gotten further into some of our larger projects, we've got an island that's got 11 hotels. And we started off thinking about, okay, could we do bathroom pods across all of them? Well, typically we heard, no, you can't do it with luxury hotels. They're too big, transportation issues, etc. But we pushed our designers and our supply chain to figure it out. And even on the largest hotels, where we got up to an 18.5 square meter pod, we were able to do it. But it took a lot of coordination on BIM with our engineering and architecture teams, you know, slab drops, clearances, how does the MEP connect in, how are we going to transport it, but we were able to do that. And so that is going a long way to eliminating wet trades on our site. And I'll just say one more thing about GIS as the other big platform that we're using, that we've got about 100 creators on that platform using a product called Survey 123, and they are giving us real-time uploads of environmental data from the field into our ArcGIS platform. And you know, we're trying to manage 30 square kilometers of pristine mangrove habitat, and that's really been key to our success.
So thank you, Scott, and maybe we'll come back to the challenges that you faced with the implementation of digital technologies. But let me turn this discussion to Theo. And all the case studies that we have heard about when utilizing tools and utilizing digitalization for all projects that are built from scratch. But in your case, dealing with Diriyah buildings, so I'm interested to know which promising digital foundation are being laid now at the Diriyah Gate Development Authority.
Thank you, Dr. Mansour. This is indeed an exciting time for us at the DGDA, and we are currently laying the foundation upon which we will build, both physical and physical vision of our project. Of course, the main drivers for us, like everyone, is economic, social, environmental, and in our case, the uniqueness of our project with a rich cultural and historical values, and which we are trying to preserve. And this is an extra driver, like one Diriyah, right, which is the unofficial motto. And we are trying to be sustainable in our architecture, in the material, but when it comes to technology, we want to embrace the best that we can. And I think Scott earlier underlined the two more basic platforms upon which we have our foundation. So our idea is to have a digital ecosystem, right? It cannot be a single software or application, but rather than an ecosystem of applications which will be, if I can say, store the wealth of the digital data which is produced currently from our supply chain, and it will cater for our own organizational informational needs, and it will help inform the strategic decisions. I don't want to say real time, near real time, right? And this is like our first priority. And this will give all function within the authority, the company, the ability to maximize its potential through enhanced collaboration and really the availability of information at the right time. And this is very important because you're not just building one project, it's basically a city, and the interface and the interaction between each and every project is unique and it has to be catered for, not just the design of the assets. So whether it's urban planning, whether it's design, visualization, costing, all of them, any of these KPIs has to be, is an important factor for us, and we are trying to leverage ArcGIS platform mostly in order to pass the message and pass the information between the stakeholders. But at the same time, it's an ecosystem, so there is an exchange of information from BIM platforms to GIS and vice versa. And I say we are thinking of it as a digital ecosystem because its usability will not end at the end of the capital expenditure, right? We want it to be a digital legacy, if you want to say, for Diriyah, for Riyadh, for KSA. So the backbone of all the future applications, many of which we might have not imagined yet, but they might be apparent after 10 or 20 years. And they will be based on the backbone of this information platform which we are now creating.
Okay, so thank you, Theo. And worth mentioning that 2 months ago, approximately, Diriyah have produced more than 1 million clay bricks, and it was signatures.
Yes.
And this is one of the sustainable initiatives that use local material in our buildings, especially historical buildings. So a great job. And
thank you so much.
Now let me shift from upgrading and expanding historical cities to more futuristic cities and regions like Neom. And let me ask Menno, what do you like to hear? I would like to hear your opinion of using digital tools for design and construction and building futuristic cities like the Line.
Yeah, very good question. Thank you, Mansour, and thank you for being here and discussing digital and sustainable topics. Neom is a very special project, as you probably all know. Probably the largest project that's out there on the globe at the moment, and maybe there will never be a larger project than this. So we have a huge task. We also have a very unprecedented time schedule, so we need to finish our project in a very short time. So on the digital side of things, we have produced what we call and it sounds quite complex, but it's not really complex. We have produced a digital overlay to our plan of works, which is some sort of a set of use cases. We developed around 50 to 60 use cases that can be applied across the whole life cycle of our projects. So from the early design stages all the way up to the construction or delivery phases and operation and maintenance phases. So we have identified many use cases like 3D modeling, generative design, 4D planning, quantity takeoff, 5D modeling, scanning technologies, progress monitoring, all these kind of use cases that we are now together with all our stakeholders, with all our construction companies, all our subcontractors and delivery partners, we are detailing those use cases and implementing them in all of our projects. So that is probably the basis of getting this information done. A very important thing is also that we established a contact organization within Neom. And this contact organization is really meant to attract startups in Neom and to make them deploy their technologies and scale up in all of our projects in Neom. So that's a very advantage thing for startups in Neom. We're building things like digital twin caves. We're building things like project control rooms to really manage all the information in our project. So a lot of stuff is going on.
So, since you mentioned the digital cave, I would like to zoom in and at that concept that got my attention and I'm sure the audience attention. What is the digital caves and what is the digital control room and what are they?
Yeah, thank you. So let me start with the digital twin cave. This is some sort of a fully immersed environment where you can walk in. It's like a dome structure or a circular 360-degree structure that you can walk in and imagine and see your project while it's not existing at the moment. So our focus is really on building Neom before we actually build Neom. So we build it digital before we build it physical. So we fully build Neom in a digital way first, after we start building in a physical way. So the digital twin cave is really supporting us in really doing design coordination, getting better insights in the status of the designs, optimizing the designs, looking into possibilities for industrialized design and construction, the offsite construction that we mentioned before. So all these possibilities are used in this digital twin cave. And the project control room is more like a NASA-like environment, where we have a lot of screens on the wall, where we present dashboards of all the data that is produced during the design phases and also the delivery phases of our projects. So for example, equipment movements on site, the amount of earthwork excavations, diesel usage, fuel usage in trucks and heavy equipment, all these kind of things.
Oh, thank you. So we have a lot of projects are coming to life, and I believe we care so much about sustainability and minimizing the carbon footprint. And Neom, Diriyah, Red Sea, you name them. They need to have a sustainability rating system. And we have Engineer Abdulaziz, we already mentioned offline about the Mustadam sustainability rating system. Can you tell us about the Mustadam?
Yeah, sure, Mansour. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So the Mustadam rating system is a green building rating system, and it was developed with the culture and tradition and heritage of Saudi Arabia in mind. Of course, the National Housing Company, being the execution arm of the MUMRA, have the benefit of being very close to the regulatory body. So we tailored the Mustadam system to be in line with the Saudi Building Code. It is suitable for residential, commercial, as well as communities. And it was developed for new development as well as existing buildings. It looks at the whole life cycle of the facility or the building, and it takes care of all the major keystone topics that sustainability addresses normally, like energy, water, site suitability and sustainability, the use of material and waste, and recycling of material, as well as connectivity, quality of life of the people, and education, and all of these aspects. It is very similar to the rating systems, the global rating systems, in terms of that it has tiers. It starts from green, bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. And we have the benefit here of having three of the panelists who use the rating system, including National Housing Company projects. So that's a proud moment for the Mustadam sustainability rating system, for sure.
Great. So, and I'm sure about the sustainability rating system that are available in the market. Most of them are not mimicking the unique characteristics of our heritages. So, great job. My second question, how you will encourage its use and what will make companies acquire such rating system?
Great question, Mansour. So as you said, it's a voluntarily system. It's not enforced. So we used, definitely we use a lot of our partners and stakeholders' interest in sustainability, like the Red Sea, like Diriyah Gate, like Sakani projects. We work with a lot of institutes and giga projects, a lot of PIF projects that we cannot disclose now because it's in the signing stage, but definitely Diriyah and Red Sea are already there. Sakani projects, all of them are there. We are working on obtaining the World Green Building Council accreditation, so it will be very equivalent to LEED and the other sustainability rating systems. We are also trying to collaborate with LEED, so that to have two-in-one. You know, if you're accredited for Mustadam, you are automatically accredited for LEED, so that will definitely be a much shorter journey for our clients. And as I said, this is one of the only rating system that take care of the cultural aspect, like using the mud or the clay from the site, where you get points to actually, you know, being sustainable and recycling some of the local materials. So that's definitely one of the major things that we look into in Mustadam.
Thank you so much, Engineer Abdulaziz. So now my question is to Scott and you. How do you bring together your stakeholders, considering the variation in their digital maturity and supply chain, to ensure all aligned and they can deliver the project with the specification and to comply with the deadline? Can start, Scott.
Well, as Red Sea, we have a mandate to deliver game-changing designs, design that gets the attention of the world. And in order to deliver on unique, never been seen before, I think digital technology is an imperative. I don't know how we could do it otherwise. And it's not just about the technology, it's also about process. And as I alluded to before, you have to get engaged with your supply chain as you know, to meet those stakeholder requirements. In our case, we embraced the idea of construction management very early on in our formation. And we manage all of our consultants directly. We have no lead consultants. We manage the vast majority of our contractors, and at the trade contractor level. So we have very few general contractors, except where we're doing something like design build, but for our hotel projects, we're doing it all. We're managing the trade contractors ourselves. We're managing the fabricators ourselves. So we're involved in every aspect of our supply chain in order to deliver on this promise of unique. And it's very much process driven. So I really want to underscore this, that it's not just about tools. It takes an enormous effort from a lot of people. We've probably got 50 BIM managers in-house that are federating models. On the design side, our design managers are working with all of our consultants in bringing fabricators in early on in the process, so that we're getting designs that are meant to be manufactured off-site. And you know, we've got to ensure that we are getting complete coordinated designs that are fit for that purpose. And then when it goes into construction, we're also fast track. And so we start releasing packages very early in the process. So while we've still got design happening, we've got the first contractors out there starting to build, or fabricators even earlier, starting to fabricate. And we have to work with these teams to, it's the same process as design. We take them through coordination, through building the contractor's model before we ever allow them to produce shop drawings. So they're producing shop drawings from the model. And that process allows us to deliver something that's very different and very complex.
Okay, thank you. So do you have any feedback?
Yes, I think as Scott highlighted, this is one of the biggest challenges, the varying degree of maturity, and especially for any information system, the timely manner of the information flow and the quality of information flow is maybe even more important than the tools or whatever we might aspire to build. So we have a different model, of course, from Red Sea. We have project management companies and consultants and contractors, so we're like a pyramid. So it comes with its own unique plus and minus, of course, challenges. And we really are trying to reach out to the last mile authors and try to help them, educate them, understand their challenges, but also to project a bigger picture. We are building something unique, and we really want to, for them to understand that they are part of a team, and even every one person's work counts in order to produce something greater in this case. So I think we are trying to really cascade this vision that we have about the digitalization of our work, and I think until now we are happy that this has gained traction, and also our consultants are always embracing and helping us in this journey.
Thank you so much. So now we will have the last questions, and we'll open the floor for questions. I come from an academic background, and we emphasize when we're dealing with digital transformation, one of the successful pillars is to educate your people and upskilling them. So my question to Neom, what steps are you taking in Neom to train your people and educate them about the digital transformation?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair comment. Because most of us are engineers, and we really like to talk about technology. We like to talk about the robots, about virtual reality, augmented reality, about all the software and hardware that we use in our processes to realize and build our projects. But it's more than only technology, and Scott and Theo already talked about the process side of things. It's about rethinking, re-engineering our processes, doing things in a different way, with all the new technology that is available. But I think the most important part is the people side of things. We need to upskill, we need to train our people, we need to change the way they work with this technology. So the training and the upskilling part is very important. And at Neom, we are currently building our, what we call our Digital Transformation Academy, which will be a academy that will train and upskill our employees. There will be areas in that training academy where people can play with technology, can play with robots, can apply this technology, where people can use 3D scanners, can drive autonomous trucks. All these things are being done in this training academy. But there's a number of additional things that are also important. I would like to briefly talk about things like engaging with other digital people across the world. We in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we would really like to start a close engagement with organizations like Building Smart International, who drive open standards in the area of digital technologies. So we're currently working on setting up a KSA or Neom chapter for Building Smart International to really engage with all the experts across the globe.
Thank you so much. So let's have the floor open for questions. Anyone have a question?
So just you discussed the Digital Transformation Academy and how you established this. Can you elaborate more on the methodology you're using to establish this academy, or the methodology you're using to disseminate the knowledge to the employees? Thank you.
Yeah, we are currently working with a number of external people that help us in setting up this economy, working with organizations like eZigurat, which is an international global organization that has a lot of expertise in this space. We're working together with them to develop a curriculum for our Transformation Academy, and working with all the hardware and software vendors out there to support us in setting up demonstration areas, setting up areas to make this happen. And maybe what I would really like to add here is that for us it's very important not only to engage with engineers, but also engage with people with completely different backgrounds. We need other kind of people in our organizations, in our construction organizations. We need real change managers that are really educated in this field. People that have a background in psychology, that have a complete different mind of thinking, that can help us deploy these technologies and work with our project managers that have done their job for 30, 40, 50 years, to do things differently and to look at possibilities to really improve in the area of reducing cost, reducing time, improving sustainability, improving quality, all these kind of things. So it's not only about the real engineering, technical focus, it is about different kind of people to engage with in our organization to really make this happen. I think that's the important thing.
Thank you. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you very much to all. And my questions to Theo from DGDA. You spoke about the clay bricks, and it's very great to see some usage of the local technologies in the building. And my question is about the sustainability and the climate changes. What if Riyadh start having too much of rain? How can we ensure the sustainability with using the clay bricks? Isn't that going to be an issue?
I think this question is a little bit outside my domain. My domain is mostly on digital. We are supporting all the sustainability initiatives, of course, through our digital platforms, but I think I'm not equipped to answer this question. Apologies.
So I may answer the question from the scientific point of view about the building material. So utilizing clay, or what we call this mold, utilizing local material, one of the characteristics is trying to minimize the CO2 emission. And this is the potential of using this material in Diriyah and other historical places. So we have a lot of research have been conducted locally. You can go through this, and I can assure you that such material is more sustainable than concrete.
So, can I add one point?
Yes.
Regarding the sustainability when erosion comes from rain? That was the question. Yes. So there are special resins that can be added to the clay and the material to make it more resistant to natural, rain or just, wind or all of that. Before National Housing Company, I was with the Royal Commission for Al-Ula. And we use something similar to use the normal clay in building. We add some resins to it to make it more resistant to rain and natural, wind and all of those elements that could deteriorate the mud brick.
Thank you, Engineer Abdulaziz.
One more question.
We will have the last questions.
One more.
Yes, sure.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for this event. He mentioned something about digital transfer and market by Neom, and there are some academy for that. Is it just for Neom people, or from me, like I'm outside of Neom, how I can enjoy this academy and learn some digital and BIM process? Thank you.
A very, very, very good question. Our first focus will be on Neom, the Neom ecosystem, so us as a client, but also all the stakeholders that are working together in the Neom ecosystem, so our contractors, our subcontractors, our suppliers, etc. But because we are also meant as a design and construction sector in Neom to diversify the economy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, according to the Vision 2030. This training academy will continue to exist and will also be open for anybody in the globe or maybe in the universe to be trained in this area. So it's not only for Neom, we will start at Neom, but it will be open in the future for everybody across the globe.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable time. And as His Excellency Engineer Abdullah said, we have a clear vision, Vision 2030, and we have a number of projects coming. And I believe the projects that we are experiencing now is only the tip of the iceberg. Now we need to work more toward digitalization. Projects are coming with more complex design. And let me conclude, and the vision that we have is more toward dreamers and innovators. And let me conclude by what we do and believe in King Fahd University. We dream big and accomplish. Assalamu alaikum.